Hello and welcome to this video on how to profit from a recession. In this video, I'll be sharing some of the strategies that you can use to make the most out of an economic downturn and come out ahead. Let's start with a quick overview of recession. A recession is a period of economic decline often marked by a decrease in the gross domestic product and a rise in unemployment. Recessions can be caused by a variety of factors, including financial crisis, political instability, or by natural disasters. Needless to say, the very first thing that you need to do in order to prepare for a recession is to build an emergency fund. An emergency fund is the fund that you can rely on in case of any sort of financial distresses or loss of income that you face in the future. A good rule of thumb is to have at least 3 to 6 months of your expenses saved up. If you work a job, if you are self-employed or own a business, it is more advisable to have about 6 to 12 months of your monthly expenses saved up. Having this level of savings gives you a financial cushion so that you can rely on it in case if you experience any kind of a sudden loss of income through a loss of job or layoff. And it can also help you ride through the wave until you find a way to bring your income source back. During a recession, it is extremely important to save a lot of money. And the best way to save a lot of money is by reducing your expenses. Take a look at your budget and see where you are losing a lot of money. Make sure to cut back on some of those expenses, such as eating out or canceling subscriptions that you don't use anymore, or some of the other things that you may be doing that are not really adding that much value to your life at that point. If you need some help around these areas, once you are done with this video, go ahead and explore my channel where I have a couple of videos which will help you budget and also save money by cutting costs in expenses where you might be paying a lot more. Remember, every little penny that you save will actually help you in the short and the longer term, especially in this uncertain environment, to help you build or stretch that emergency fund such that you can live a worry-free life in case if you suddenly happen to lose your primary source of income. If you have debt which is within reasonable means, now is the time to pay it off. And precisely the kind of debt that I'm talking about is the high interest credit card debt, because this can be absolutely worrisome in a recession. Yes, there are some of the other debts which are not within our means to pay off. These could be your mortgages or your graduate school student loans, which can sometimes surpass well over $50,000. Or it could be some of the auto loans wherein people usually don't have the money to buy any car outright or pay that loan off right then and there. But if you do have some funds available that you can allocate towards these resources, the best way to prioritize in this case would be to start tackling some of those really high interest payments first, and then going down the order of all of the loans or debts that you have. Doing so will help you save a little bit more every month, and that savings can be applied towards the emergency fund that you are building for yourself. In a recession, it can always be helpful to have additional sources of income. And these additional sources of income could come through a part-time job, or if you have certain skill sets, you could also try the freelancing route. In these kinds of environments, a lot of times many businesses have to cut costs and they can't afford a full-time employee. But if you do have those kinds of skill sets, maybe you could dedicate a couple of hours a week to help this business out while making money at the same point of time. Find a way to monetize your hobbies or skills that you have, especially that you're a lot passionate about. Doing so will actually put you in a different kind of a peace of mind where you know that you have two different sources of income. Maybe your part-time is not making you as much as your primary income, but it still relieves a lot of pressure of reliance on the primary income itself. And you never know, maybe your freelancing or hobbies in the future that you actually started during a recession could actually convert into a business and you might end up working for yourself. Now let's talk about investing during a recession. It is said that millionaires are made during a recession, and I kind of agree with this statement. And this is because during a recession, if you look at a whole lot of assets, it could be your stocks, your real estate, they're usually available at a discount than the price that they were during the pre-recession period, which ideally means that if you do have the funds available and you allocate them right, we have seen historically that a stock market, whenever it has fallen, has always gone up eventually. And if you look at the history for the S&P 500 index in general, it has constantly kept going up throughout history. Of course, when it comes to investment, you have to also make a wise decision by looking at your own financial situation. You have to look at your knowledge about the market your risk tolerance, which can be different for different people, study and find out exactly where you want to invest. And once you are done with all of this research, then it is advisable for you to go ahead and maybe use this as one of the strategies which could eventually help you out in the future. In addition to investing, starting a business during a recession might actually be a smart move. And this is because during a recession, there may be less competition as compared to during a booming world. And at this point of time, you might even be able to negotiate better deals on your equipment and supplies. Now, whenever you start a business, it definitely depends on how recession-proof your business is and what kind of products and services do you plan to sell. If these services, however, are more evergreen and they're more tailored to be recession-proof, such as essential goods or other budget-friendly options, this might actually help you out in building or starting a really, really smart business and growing it and making the best use of it during the booming world which will come on after recession. It is extremely important to stay calm during a recession and make sure that you don't make any impulsive financial decisions. Yes, a recession is a very tough situation and things are difficult for a lot of people in general, but you need to be aware of this thing, that the economy keeps going through cycles, and like the last time, this time will pass and we will get to a stage where we will get into a booming economy where these problems won't really matter that much anymore.